Good morning, nerds. It's Tuesday. I want to talk to you about the video I was initially going to make and then didn't, and instead went with a good old metaphorically resonant still shot of a lake, except it's a metaphorically resonant still shot of a desert. That first video was going to be about penguins' ADHD and the way I see myself, but I felt like it was a photoshopped portrait of my life. It felt like I was saying that I had all the answers, that I had figured out my place in the world. It felt more and more dishonest the more and more I procrastinated on making it. I felt like I wasn't being the secret sibling and nerd fighter that I know I could be. The metaphor in that script was about penguins and how they can't fly, unlike most other birds, but they can swim. They've adapted themselves to their environment and learned how to thrive. I was going to talk about how I struggle with my ADHD and depression and struggle to keep up with people who don't have mental illnesses, but I can thrive when I find whatever my water is, and instead of trying to fly like all the other birds, I swim. The only problem with that is that I can't find any water to swim in. I live in a desert, metaphorically and literally, and water is hard to come by. It's hard to find places where I feel like I belong, places where I can thrive, like penguins do. The problem with comparing myself to penguins is that they've had millions of years to adapt to their environment. I'm 24, and after struggling to graduate college for 6 years, I dropped out 2 months ago, hoping I'd jump off the metaphorical iceberg and into a vast ocean of opportunity. Instead, I ended up in a desert, feeling just as lost and out of place as before. I thought that by escaping the academic framework I struggled in for years, I'd find all kinds of new opportunities. Instead, I realized that, just like the academic world, the rest of the world isn't designed with neurodiversity in mind. It felt like I was a toddler again, struggling to sit in chairs that weren't designed for someone my size. And there are times when I come across puddles and ponds that I can splash around in, open mic nights and creative opportunities like these videos, but they're oases in a vast desert, and they're hard to find. What I have found in those ponds and puddles are other penguins full of kindness and understanding. Kindness from the people in Nerdfighteria, from people who bought books of poetry I printed out on printer paper, the kindness of friends and even strangers willing to lend an ear and a cup of water. Living with ADHD and depression has made me feel very alone and isolated much of my life. But what has helped me most are all the other penguins with illnesses and struggles of their own. Kind-hearted people who remind me that I'm not the only one feeling out of place. We can all feel out of place together. So thank you. Thank you for reminding me that I'm not alone, that there are other penguins out here in the desert. Thank you for listening to me when I needed it. Thank you for being kind and supportive when I felt like giving up. And maybe we'll find our ocean, but right now, we have each other. And right now, that's what I need. Rebecca, I'll see you tomorrow.